Grace Baptist Church, coming to you live here this morning, and just wanted to give you a little walkthrough of what you might expect on Sunday as you come to church. So we have the door propped open so that we don't have copious amounts of touching of door handles. So come on in and we'll take a little walkthrough of what to expect. So as you come in the front door, you'll see the sign there, just reminding people that if you've been out of the province and you need to self-isolate, please do so, or if you have symptoms. And there should be somebody here as well, checking everybody in, and we'll say more about that later. I'm just greeting you as you come, just as normal. We are looking to have you go through these doors, so the two doors over there will be closed. We'll follow everybody through this way. And as you notice, you walk in, we've kind of divided the foyer in half, so that block that off and kind of funnel everybody down through the overflow doors. There'll be hand sanitizer there if you wish, a mask if you wish, but again, that's up to you. That's personal choice. And then, of course, we've got the signs to maintain a distance of 2 meters, social distancing. Again, we've all become accustomed to that with grocery shopping and that sort of thing at this point. So really not too much different than what you would expect, but we'll get in the auditorium and just kind of show you that layout in just a moment. But just a few things. First of all, thank you. Thank you for your prayers. This has been a difficult and unusual time for all of us, so thank you for your continued prayers for us as your elders and leadership here at Grace. Thank you for your prayers for one another. Thank you for your patience. This has not been easy trying to navigate all of this, and as restrictions are lifted, sometimes with very short notice and different things, it's just we're trying to react as your elders and lead well. So thank you for your patience in all of this. We know there's lots of opinions and thoughts, and we want to take those into consideration, certainly. And then thank you for taking the survey. I was talking to the individuals who had called people, and just a number of, many of you took the survey, about 150 people took the survey. So great response, really, really helps us out. So based on that response, we know that a number of you are eager to get back to church, even with it being a little bit different. And so we really, really appreciate that. And so we're looking forward to that, and we'll walk through how that looks in just a moment. Number of options to do that. We could have dedicated the auditorium for up to 50 people, which is according to the guidelines, and had another separate location in the building where people could watch it on the screen. We did have a number of people who respond to us and say that if I'm watching on the screen at the church, I could watch it on the screen at home as I have been doing. And so we looked at ways, how can we best get people into the actual auditorium and live together, gathered as a church. And so the way that we're going to do that, or try to do that, is to have two services this coming starting this Sunday. There'll be an initial service at 9 a.m., and that'll be for 1 hour, so from 9 until 10. And then we'll have a second service that starts at 11 a.m. and goes till noon. It'll be a bit condensed. Some of you will be pleased to know that the sermon will also be condensed, but it will be a bit of a condensed service. So just an hour instead of an hour and a half. And we're putting an hour between the two services to enable those that have come to the first service to have some time to socialize, mix and mingle after the service, also before. But then they will be able to leave by about 10:30. And then those that are coming for the 11 a.m. service will come around 10:30, also have some time to fellowship and socialize before the service starts. And those two groups will not interact, or at least not as much. So that's why the gap is there. So how that's going to work is, and we'll explain a little bit more tonight as well, maybe clarify some questions. So be on the lookout for our prayer gathering this evening. Any questions you have or comments or things, you can do that then as well. But what that's going to look like is there's going to be an online sign-up sheet. We're going to use a software called Eventbrite, and basically all that is for you to reserve a spot here in one of those two services. Before we make that live, though, all day tomorrow, we're opening up the opportunity for people to call into the church office. Our office manager is going to be here. What we didn't want is to open it up online, and then those that don't have access to the internet would then not be able to get a spot if they wanted one. So we want to reserve a whole day, all day Thursday. So spread the word. If you know individuals that want to come back to church, don't have access to the internet, but they can phone into the church office. They can do that all day Thursday during normal office hours and reserve their spot. Then on Friday morning, this Eventbrite will go live. We'll post it all over social media. There'll be two links, two separate links. One link for the 9 a.m. service and a separate link for the 11 a.m. service. So follow the link that of the service that you want to attend. Click on that, and then every person that's coming from your family or your bubble, reserve a spot for each one of those people. So it's not enough just to put your name down and have us assume that means 4 or 5 people. Every single person who's coming, you can go through and get them a separate sort of spot in the sign-up spot. And then we will know who's coming. That'll close by Saturday at about 5 p.m., 5 or 6 p.m., which gives us some time on Saturday night to actually put your name on a chair. And we'll show you why we need to do that just as we kind of walk through. So just to let you know again, 2 services starting this Sunday, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. And we're hoping to have both services as full as possible. If you note off to the left, though, just before we kind of go in the auditorium and wrap back around, we have some overflow seating set up. The purpose of this is that if we exceed 40 people in the auditorium, which is how we're currently set up, we can get an additional 15 to 20 out here in the foyer. Our thought here was, rather than watching on a screen, you can actually see through the glass doors. And because we have these beautiful glass doors, we can actually have the foyer be a separate defined space, which means that you can be close to the action, but in a separate space, which means we can have more than the 50 in the auditorium. So with 40 people in the seats, plus 6 on the platform and 2 at the sound booth, and then me or Dan preaching, that gives us 49 or 50. So, but this will be kind of overflow. We also are aware people may come in that don't have a spot on the sign-up sheet. They just want to come back to church. They heard that we were open, they're going to come, and we do not want to turn anyone away. So we've already kind of pre-planned to have some people in the overflow. So again, as you come in then, we'll come around right here down. Certainly mix and mingle, 6 feet apart as you've been doing in other contexts. That's one of the beauties of being together as the church. So you can socialize before the service starts. And then as we walk down, this past the new switching station, we come into the auditorium. So as you'll note, we have things set up for roughly 50 people on the chairs. It's about 47. We won't be able to use all of those seats because of the restrictions with the musicians and the tech guys in that number of 50, but we're going to have 40 spots for both of those 2 services. So between the 2 services on Sunday morning, we can get 80 people in here between those 2 services. Again, with the overflow seating out in the foyer. You'll notice the chairs are kind of in pods. So we've put them in sort of sections of 4 chairs all around the auditorium. All of these are 12 feet apart, a 12-foot radius around them, both side to side and front to back. The reason for that is, as we were on the call with Dr. Morrison and Dr. Zabapathy, they let us know that singing, because it projects respiratory droplets more strongly, they recommend a 12-foot distance or circumference, and so we're going to abide by that. Some have asked, well, would we get more people in the auditorium if we were only 6 feet apart? The answer, of course, is yes. But we wouldn't be able to sing, and we still can only get 50 people in the auditorium for a service right now. The guideline is 50. That's the max for a gathering. And so we thought the best of both worlds is to put the 50 people in the auditorium with the ability to sing. So the reason why we need you guys to sign up is we need to know how this is going to work. Because if it's only couples that come, which is totally fine and great, we'll need to sort of rearrange the chairs. And if it's families, we can slide chairs over and still maintain the 12 feet apart and 4 meter distance. You'll notice it's a little echoey in here. It'll be a bit weird, I'm sure. But all of us are going to appreciate being together, and as well to actually have people that I'm speaking to or Dan is speaking to on a Sunday, and the musicians are actually singing to live people instead of the video camera. So again, this is as much for others as it is for you to be able to come back and to gather as the church. So we're all set up and ready to go here in the auditorium. So as you come in, hopefully then by Saturday night, based on the sign-up list for each service, we'll be able to put your name on a set of chairs, and you'll just be able to come in and find your seat. You're not able to pick your seat, so the front row will be determined by however we do it, I guess.
Yeah, no bribery options.
No. And it's free to come. There's no cost. But we're excited. We're looking forward to Sunday.
Did you want to note about like the bubble option with friends?
Yes, thank you, Pastor Dan. That's great. So again, your family as they come and they sign up to come, since the weekend of Mother's Day, so the Saturday or the Friday before Mother's Day, you have been able to gather with up to 5 other people to sort of adopt them into your family. So if you could maybe even, I don't know if there's a way to make a note of that as you sign up on Eventbrite, but that would help us that if you're a couple who've been sort of hanging out with another couple, that the 4 of you could sit together in one of these pods of chairs. That'd be helpful for us to know that ahead of time.
You just organize their tickets together.
Right. You could even even contact that other family who you're bubbled with and say, look, I'll get all the sign-up spots or all the tickets or whatever for each of us. Yeah. We hesitate to call it tickets because it sounds like you have to pay for them.
The seats.
Eventbrite is a ticketing service, but you don't have to pay to come to church. So we're looking forward to that and being together. Some of you have mentioned that you don't want to take a seat if it means that somebody else wouldn't be able to come. We really appreciate that heart, and that is a wonderful example of the gospel. So some of you have said you might wait until maybe on the Saturday to see if there's any spots still available. So again, however you sort of do that, the reality is if everybody has the philosophy and the idea that I don't want to take somebody else's seat, then even though we can gather, perhaps we would be empty because everybody's want to give their seat to everybody else. So please, if you want to come, we would love to have you. We have the ability to have more than 50 because we have the foyer area. We also have the school atrium. We're not going to walk over there, but the school atrium is also set up with chairs and the 4 TVs, the big screen wall there. And so the live stream will be then projected on there. The service will be projected on there, and there will be sound. So for the 11 a.m. service, we would have that as a secondary option to be able to go out there and watch the service as well. So we will still live stream. The live stream will be the 11 a.m. service. And so at about 10:45, we'll go live, about 15 minutes later than we normally do. And again, roll the announcements and have that on there. So that is an option if you are at home and you're not able to come in. About half, I would say, of the people that took the survey said they would come back, and about half said they wouldn't, and that's why we put the survey out there. We wanted to hear from you, and some are nervous about health, some are nervous about the virus, some are nervous about a number of different things. Some of you with young children have mentioned that to be in here, as you can see, as Dan has shown you, this would be a great playground for your kids. And so the format might not be good for young children, and so we totally understand that. We don't want to exclude anybody, but we want to include as many people as we can. And so we would, again, love to have you with us on Sunday. So please sign up. There is enough spots for those that took the survey and said that they wanted to come. So please, again, just get those seats. Just sign up on that Eventbrite. So Thursday, spread the word. You can phone in, and then we will open up the Eventbrite software starting on Friday morning. That'll be open for 2 days, so all day Friday and most of the day Saturday. Then that'll close on Saturday. We'll get everybody situated, hopefully, and get everybody in, and then look to have 2 great services here on Sunday morning, one at 9 a.m. and one at 11 a.m. Am I missing anything, Pastor Dan?
No, I think that's good. Yeah.
All right. So hopefully this helps. We just kind of wanted to show you the space. It's what you remember, if you can remember 3 months ago, back when you were last in here. But it is a bit different, and it'll be a bit weird. We're not going to, candy coat that. It's going to be unusual and odd. But to be able to be together, to sing together, and I'm looking forward to everybody singing their guts out. We haven't been able to do that together as a congregation for a while and hear from God's Word. And hey, the service is going to be a half hour shorter than normal. So, no. So we're just really looking forward to being together again as the church. We'll see how it goes this Sunday. And then certainly if you watch online as you normally do and think, man, maybe I can go back, and I see that they're taking good precautions, and maybe I want to go back, then for July 5th and as we move forward. We're also, as always, listening to the guidelines. We're in regular communication with the public health officials. We're hoping to get a meeting even with the Premier's office, a group of pastors here in town, just to kind of look at things. And we know in New Brunswick, they've opened up just after a couple of weeks of the one level and gone to the next. So things are changing quick, and we're trying to lead well in this. So thank you so much for your patience, for your prayers, and we hope to see you here on Sunday morning, either at 9 a.m. or at 11. All right.